This could become the biggest story in Bitcoin history. GameStop is now actually planning to raise $1.3 billion to buy Bitcoin. We need to take a look at this. Donald Trump additionally confirms that he finds Cynthia Lummis brutal. The woman who claims to be a Bitcoin maximalist, walks around with laser eyes, and wants to buy 1 million Bitcoin for the USA. And Donald Trump makes it very clear in a public statement that Cynthia Lummis is brutally on the scene here. We need to look at this because it means that Bitcoin, as we know it, is now entering a new phase. We now have a second potential Michael Saylor with GameStop. Let's take a look at that. Additionally, we have more and more signs that the USA will buy Bitcoin here. Once again, the new confirmation here from Donald Trump. And additionally, there is now a new senator who is talking about the USA having a strategic Bitcoin reserve at the state level by August at the latest. So not like Donald Trump here at the national level, but at the state level. And folks, this is no joke. At the end, I'll show you my epic new Valhalla bomb while cliff diving. Double backflip guaranteed. Stay tuned until the end. It's going to be hyper epic. Hypothenex is the keyword. And Donald Trump has also made new statements that he wants to impose a 25% tariff on all cars imported from outside the USA. So he's bringing uncertainty back into the market. There was actually something very, very interesting from Kobeisai about this. Kobeisai unfortunately says, hey, the trade war is back. The markets think that everything will settle by April 2nd, but they assume the opposite, that we will have uncertainty in the market for a longer time. So that's a very interesting assessment. But you can't say whether it will be bullish or bearish after April 2nd or whatever. At the moment, Donald Trump can change his mind every day. And we'll also look at the statements he made to Cynthia Lummis, where he praises a Bitcoin maximalist to the skies. So it's really quite special what's happening here right now. But first, let's look at the GameStop story. You reported yesterday, hey folks, GameStop might buy Bitcoin now, and they probably will. I said it's almost 100% going to happen. Now we see it here, the announcement, GameStop will raise $1.3 billion to buy Bitcoin. Let's fucking go. And GameStop has a market capitalization 10 times higher than MicroStrategy when they kickstarted their Bitcoin strategy. So this is not an irrelevant step that's happening here. Max Kaiser writes, we now have 2 Michael Saylors, not just one Michael Saylor, but we now have 2 Michael Saylors and potentially the entire GameStop army that could pump Bitcoin up. Here we have the offering. It officially states that GameStop will raise $1.3 billion to buy Bitcoin. So as I understand it, they are not using their cash reserves here, but they want to raise new money. GameStop plans to offer convertible bonds in a private placement worth $1.3 billion with an interest rate of 0% and a maturity until 2030. The proceeds will benefit general corporate purposes, including the acquisition of Bitcoin. So the money will most likely flow into Bitcoin here. It also states here that it can be used for general corporate purposes, including the acquisition of Bitcoin. I don't know if that means only Bitcoin or among other things Bitcoin, but I assume it will mainly be used for Bitcoin. So Ryan Cohen, the CEO of GameStop, definitely played out the whole playbook with Michael Saylor here. And Michael Saylor is really going all out now. Michael Saylor is posting the GameStop meme here, and we know it when it was posted back then, exactly this meme. But in relation to GameStop, that's when the crazy rally started moving forward. And Michael Saylor now wants to kickstart something similar. Michael Saylor is currently tweeting more about GameStop than GameStop itself. GameStop hasn't really tweeted anything big yet, neither has Ryan Cohen or anyone else. But Michael Saylor is conducting polls on how much Bitcoin GameStop should buy. Michael Saylor says here, welcome to the club, and then posts a meme suggesting that everything is going to skyrocket. But it's not just Michael Saylor. Everyone is completely excited here. Adam Beck, who was mentioned in the white paper, says here GameStart. So not GameStop, but GameStart is really kicking off at full speed now. The Bitcoin therapist also mentions here $1.3 billion at 0% due in 2030. Ryan Cohen has studied Saylor. This will be a golden bull run. So the superlatives are going wild. Check this out. TFTC, a relatively serious podcast from America, writes here Supercycle, let's fucking go. I said it first, and we're already seeing the Bitcoin effect. The GameStop stock is shooting up rapidly. I mean, we have to see if this is sustainable, but there are several steps that you just go through here. The first was basically the announcement, which pumped Bitcoin and the stock up. Then you make the announcement that you want to raise capital, which pumps the stock even higher. And then you make the announcement that you've bought Bitcoin, which pumps the stock even further. And then we'll have to see what happens. They still have over $4 billion in cash reserves, which could potentially be allocated to Bitcoin. I found it quite impressive what was posted by the Bitcoin archive, namely that GameStop, with its existing cash balance of $4.6 billion can service a loan of up to 100 billion US dollars at 1% interest for 4.6 years. That's double the amount of Bitcoin that Michael Saylor's strategy currently holds. So, GameStop could buy more Bitcoin than Michael Saylor has bought with MicroStrategy. I mean, I don't think it's going to happen, but just to make the relations clear to you, GameStop is indeed a bigger player here, at least compared to when MicroStrategy first got involved. This means we are seeing increasingly larger players joining in. It was the same at the beginning with El Salvador. People said, okay, El Salvador, what's the point? People said, MicroStrategy, what's the point? Now Donald Trump is coming, now GameStop is coming, now even bigger players are getting into Bitcoin and people still don't get it. People always say, oh, Donald Trump, oh, GameStop, what's all this nonsense? I'm here in the bear camp. But I'm telling you, hey, the signs are looking very, very good right now, and we need to watch very closely how this develops. We are preparing for a potentially very, very rapid rally. Sure, it can always go down in the short term, but in the medium and long term, it looks very, very bullish. And now it continues here. If you thought that was all, then check out what kind of move Donald Trump has pulled off again. We are seeing a very, very big announcement here. So it's not just some tweet or something, 2 lines or so, like, hey, thanks Cynthia Lummis. But here is an expression of gratitude to Cynthia Lummis, who, as mentioned, is a Bitcoin maximalist. She keeps saying it, she is a Bitcoin maximalist, she has laser eyes in her profile, and she is the one who introduced the Bitcoin bill, already said at the Nashville conference last year that she wants to buy 1 million Bitcoin per year, and the Bitcoins should be held for a minimum of 20 years. And now check out what Donald Trump is publicly writing on social media about a Bitcoin maximalist. He says here, Senator Cynthia Lummis is an America First warrior for the wonderful people of Wyoming. As the chair of the Senate Banking Subcommittee on Digital Assets, Cynthia is working closely with me to make America the crypto capital of the world. That means Donald Trump is saying, I'm working with Bitcoin maximalists here, and that's a good thing. He now wants to make the USA the crypto capital and is using Cynthia Lummis for that. It's very, very bullish because that's also what I've been telling you from day one. Hey, if Donald Trump doesn't get it, it doesn't matter at all. His advisory team, the people around Donald Trump, they get it. Howard Lutnick wants to shoot Bitcoin to the moon. Cynthia Lummis wants to shoot Bitcoin to the moon. They all want to shoot Bitcoin to the moon. And even if Donald Trump doesn't fully get it, it doesn't matter because the people around him influence him. And you can see that now. And Donald Trump seems to actually like it. So he doesn't seem to think it's bad. Rather, he apparently loves hanging out with Bitcoin maximalists. It says here, Cynthia tirelessly fights to strengthen the economy, lower taxes and regulations, secure our borders, defend our constantly threatened gun ownership rights, strengthen our incredible military and veterans, and put our great farmers, ranchers, and energy producers first. And now here comes what I meant, which is the confirmation that the strategic Bitcoin reserve will go through. Senator Cynthia Lummis has my full and unwavering support for her re-election. She will never let you down. So he clearly confirms here, no matter what Cynthia Lummis does, or not entirely no matter what, but in any case, he confirms that he fully supports Cynthia Lummis's policies, and that includes the Bitcoin reserve and the Bitcoin bill. So Cynthia Lummis and Donald Trump must have clearly talked about the Bitcoin bill, because I also told you, hey, what's happening with the executive order is cool, but if you really want to approach it long-term in the USA, then the Bitcoin bill has to pass, because only then can you guarantee that when Donald Trump is no longer in office, Bitcoin will still be held and more Bitcoin will continue to be accumulated. Otherwise, some fool like in Germany or somewhere will come and sell all the Bitcoin. And now check this out. There is actually a senator in Ohio who is not predicting, but has already clearly confirmed that by August at the latest, probably assuming in Ohio, but definitely on a state level, a strategic Bitcoin reserve will be established. Too intense.
I think if people understand, generally speaking, this is really, really good for the future of U.S. dominance financially around the world, then we'll get to a point of consensus. And I think we're getting there. I think certainly this industry, the Digital Chamber I was a member of 11 years ago, where we took a totally different small group of people and now are a pretty powerful force in Washington, D.C. I think we got to celebrate that too, that's happened in a very short period of time. So it's exciting times. I'm going to lay out the gauntlet. Let's get this done by August. Recess. What do you think? We'll get it done? Market structure, Genius Act, SBR done by August, right? What do you guys think?
First, he beats around the bush, saying it's great to be part of the team and to push everything forward and blah, blah, blah. And then at the end, he puts the facts on the table and says, hey, let's get it done until August. He's not even talking about the strategic Bitcoin reserve, he's talking about SBR. You can tell he's really delved into it because when someone uses the abbreviation, they've used the term very, very often. Otherwise, they would use strategic Bitcoin reserve. So The senator has probably talked about a strategic Bitcoin reserve so often that it's coming out of his ears, and that's why he's using the abbreviation. So yes, I know, here come all the comments again, like why isn't the Bitcoin price rising yet? We see all the underlying factors happening in the background, which are intense and couldn't be more intense. And we still have that certain risk-off sentiment. But I think one really shouldn't let themselves be unsettled by that. What is happening in the background? New things come to light every day, new announcements happen every day, and so on. So I'm definitely heavily in the bull camp right now. But feel free to write to me about how you see the whole situation. We're about to watch my ultra-intense waterfall jump with a backflip. No joke. But before that, check out 21 Bitcoin, the easiest way to buy Bitcoin. I'll put a link down here, and with the code Bitcoin Hotel, you can get up to 20% off the fees when buying Bitcoin. I'll also show you my mangoes, and now let's watch the intense waterfall jump, or rather, several. Easy. Be careful, don't slip now, man. It is slippery out there, my friend. Crazy. It is absolutely crazy. The local market is Bitcoin rising, but the market is indeed moving upward.
Deviluk, I need you to stay very close. You're doing an outstanding job, and it's incredibly important. Make sure to keep a vigilant eye on the progress and provide any how much we value her dedication and the positive impact she has on our team.
That was really crazy. Guys, make sure to write in the comments below, rating from 1 to 21. And very important, take a look at the rock up here. Also, let me know who would jump from up here into the waterfall for a whole Bitcoin. Write it in the comments. See you then. Peace out.